Here we go. Right, no more talking. I'm definitely going to get walking. Morning folks. I'm afraid we didn't have time to have a chat last night. I arrived in the dark and it was quite some fun putting the tent up in the dark. Well, more importantly, trying to find a actual wild camping spot. I had kind of pre-planned somewhere when I looked at the OS map in terms of getting somewhere that was reasonably flat and sheltered and away from people on the path, and it turned out I was actually spot on. So it proves it's worth the time to investigate and plan, etc. Because I was very lucky. I found it straight away, perfect spot. It then started, well, in fact it had started to rain a little bit, but it just got progressively worse. So reflections on the previous day, the bit where I talked about going over the hill rather than along the river route, somebody actually caught me up. Hi James. And he told me that the river route was perfectly fine, which is sod's law, because he said he didn't ever envy me kind of going up that hill, and it's one of the highest points apparently, it turns out to be. Right, I need to get the tent away. I've managed to pack everything else. Yeah, you might just see, yeah, rucksack's in there, ready to go. And yeah, like I say, it was actually quite a good flat spot. I'm glad I've only got a one-man tent. Might have been a bit of a push for a two-man tent. And I've just got to find my way sort of back that way down onto the main track. So, I'm back on track. When I went up there, but it's weird because it felt so different in the dark, having just come down the way I did. Anyhow, onward we go. So you can see there, we're going to Pandy, which is 13 miles away. Which means I did yesterday a little bit more than I thought I did, because I've only been walking a short distance and it says Monmouth is 3 miles away. So that probably puts it closer to 20 in terms of what I did last night. I have got a bit of a quandary going forward in terms of Pandy, which I shall tell you about. And I shall talk to you from this very handy bench here. So Pandy takes you to the foothills of the Black Mountains, which sounds rather ominous, and potentially it will be because of the change in the weather. So tomorrow is supposed to be heavy rain, and going over the Black Mountains in heavy rain, not sure. I think there's a little bit of an alternative route, a low-lying route. But yeah, I'm not quite sure what to do once I've got through Pandy, because 13 miles I should definitely get done today. And originally I was hoping I might crack on a few more miles, but I'm not quite sure where it's going to take me and where I'll get to wild camping terms. I certainly don't want to be caught in the dark on the Black Mountains. It wasn't too bad round here, but yeah, trying to set up camp in the dark again would not be ideal. So yeah, some decisions to make, some dilemmas to think about. Right, enough of my talking. I almost keep putting off getting started this morning. Don't understand why. Okay, onward we go. So, say goodbye to the Forest of Dean. I've enjoyed the company of the forest for the last 20 miles or so. I'm going to now to open landscape. and barking dogs. So this is looking like it might be a fun bit. Here we go. Whoa. Okay. Certainly want to avoid that way. Not sure what's going to happen once I get the other side. Oh no, the thing's over that side. Oh, I was hoping it was this side. Oh. I'm glad I put my gaiters on this morning. Okay, I need to go up there. So you can see, I'm a sticky mess. Yeah, that was not a great experience. But one of the hazards of walking the Offa's Dyke, and dare I say it, at this time of year, many other trails that you might come across. But this looks a bit healthier going forward. So we have a random picnic table here, which I guess you could have a picnic and admire your next door neighbours. Now the interesting thing about this field, which is very muddy, has a large lake at the bottom of it. Technically Offa's Dyke goes that way, but there is a sign back there saying permitted route this way, and I kind of like, because it didn't make clear why there was a permitted path this way, I was nearly tempted to go the Offa Dyke way. Oh gosh, having seen those castles now, I'm pretty confident. I'm glad I went this way. So elements of the church are from the 14th and 15th century. The bell tower, although Victorian, one of the bells is actually dated, there's 3 bells, one of the bells is actually dated 1540 and is still in use. Big hats off to St. Michael's. That's a really good stop. It can service all your needs. I certainly managed to get some water. Only problem now is I'm carrying 2 litres of water, which as you know is 2 kilos. But at least I know it's clear, fresh, pure water. Don't need to filter or boil it. And yeah, I was able to get rid of some rubbish as well, which was really good. So yeah, if you're on the trail, it happens at quite a good point after Monmouth, a good resting point. Every time I see a pink house, it makes me smile. So this is not great news. Just trying to make sense of this now. Oh, I think I might be able to. Depends if I can hack along through these fields over here and get to this. It's like farm buildings and stuff. Damn. And then I've got to walk along this road. And it's not even a yellow road, it's a brown road, so it could be quite busy. Right, see what we can do then. So it would seem I missed the signs for the temporary diversion, but I was pretty lucky, because where those set of steps are now, what I basically did is I came across a very small sign for a footpath, and I basically followed the fields alongside the river to get here, so I didn't have to go back on myself. There's a bit of a ruin over there, and apparently it's from a mill, and the mill was for servicing the garrison at White Castle, which we saw earlier. And White Castle was the reason I think I missed the temporary diversion. I was that intent on taking pictures of it, I missed it. Yeah, I just climbed up that hill. It's pretty steep, and then came to this gate here. I'm just about to go through, but I love the sign next to it. Well done. 200 metres to go for a pint. Long end of the day for me, but I like the sentiment. So the restored medieval church contains a remarkable 15th century wall painting. So apparently Pandy 2 miles, which is main objective today, and then it's the Black Mountains. If I moan about the mountains on day 3, just remind me of the Mudfest from day 2. I think that summarises what today's been like. It's been really bad. It's been a mudfest, made travelling really difficult, and in fact it was only the 2 churches that I came across that was light relief. Hi folks, so as you can see it's actually daylight, so I managed to get to a place outside of Pandy, which means I've travelled about 17 miles. And yeah, the place I'm at is Pendwin Hill Fort, and I'll kind of show you around in a little while. I've just managed to get set up. It's probably round about 5 o'clock-ish, so it makes a welcome change to set up the tent in daylight, which I was really determined to do actually today. Tomorrow sees me travelling over the Black Mountains, which is something I've not done before, so I'm looking forward to that. The weather originally was forecast to be heavy rain, but now it's saying light rain, so I feel a bit more confident about that. Yeah, and the place I'm going to, just hang on, I'll check. I know it's on Wye. I think oh, Hay-on-Wye. That's 17.5 miles. That was it. I was going to show you around the hill fort. In fact, if you're ever wild camping and you see on the map hill fort, it's always a good one to go for. Because obviously when you get there, parts of the land inevitably is flat. So yeah, one of my little secrets. Right, let's have a quick look round. So there you go, that's where I'm tucked away. I'm probably about 50 meters away from the track, but I'm in a little bit of a hollow, so not too obvious. But yeah, this is the hill fort. So you can see here how it's been built up, and it looks even more dramatic from the other side. Yeah, so this is the bank from the other side. I reckon that's probably about 4 meters high from the ground, but obviously it's really, you're not going to attack it from this side. It's really steep down there. Got a few horses here as well. I was actually just looking, my tent's only about 20 meters away, but you can't obviously spot it. So I thought I'd let you have a little look inside. I'm all set up. I should be nice and cozy tonight. That's good night from me. I'll see you guys in the morning. Yeah, this is what I can see. We might see it. Right, no more talking. I'm definitely going to get walking. You're really making good time. Obviously there's nothing to look at. I've just got my head down. And the problem I'm having is probably the standing water. Even though I've got waterproof clothes. Boots. Yeah, they're not waterproof anymore. There's also something to do. Interesting interpretation of what is waterproof in terms of the manufacturers of such gear. Anyhow, onward we go. Oh, yeah, just too beautiful. Right, well that's voice away. See you later, guys. So I can't believe a moment ago I was on top. I mean, literally 10 minutes ago. Now, I can appreciate the beauty of the landscape below. Right, I've got to get down here. I'd imagine it's going to be quite slippery with all the rain. So that's just where I've come from. I don't know if you can read it. But Pandy, 60 miles. 60? What am I saying? 16 miles. Not bad. It's 11:30. And lots of more wild horses around. Right, need to get over to those woods and then to Hay-on-Wye. Well, we're back to this kind of terrain. Not great, fallen over a couple of times already. One of them was quite spectacular. I think as soon as I can find a road, I'm going to stick to the road from now on. Very reasonable rates as well. So I'm camping underneath the cherry blossoms, which looks great in the lighting at the moment. Apparently these all been done by chainsaw. So my reflections on today. Today is number 3, I think. It's interesting how you lose track of time when it doesn't really matter. So today, obviously I went over the Black Mountains and yeah, the weather was absolutely atrocious, but I actually enjoyed it. It's interesting, it's quite a gradual upbuild to the top of the mountain, to Black Mountain, and it's a nice ridge walk. Now it was a bit of a shame I couldn't actually see anything, but under the circumstances I really enjoyed it and I made really good time. The fact that I virtually completed it by lunchtime, and then really I've spent the afternoon drying out in the pub next to a roaring fire, so you can imagine I've pretty well enjoyed that. And yeah, I decided, because of circumstances and the fact that I wanted to enjoy Hay-on-Wye, yeah, I think it was a good decision. Hay-on-Wye is a really nice place. If you get opportunity, it's definitely a place you should visit. And then to cap it all, to make it a complete perfect day, yeah, this campsite. Obviously I've shown you the sign, so you know where it is. Well, you don't necessarily know where it is, but you know of it. And in terms of where it actually is, it's about 10 minutes through Hay-on-Wye. And I mean, in the morning it's going to take me, because it's downhill for me, 5 minutes or so to get to the start. So yeah, this is a really good campsite. And I have to say, the facility is clean. The person who owns it, very pleasant. Got a lot going for it, this campsite. Right, that's it for me. I'll see you tomorrow. Day 4, I think.